Breaking news, as you see on the screen from TMZ. TMZ reporting that the singer Prince is dead at the age of 57. Really unfortunate news for all those Prince fans out there. His body was found in his compound in Minnesota. We're getting preliminary information right now from TMZ. His body was found early this morning, dead at the age of 57. Just last week, he had dealt with some health issues, forcing his plane to land, do an emergency landing in Illinois. But the very next day, he went back on stage to ensure his fans that he was okay. Again, this is breaking news. We have very limited information right now. I'm showing you the headlines that are coming in from TMZ. 32 minutes ago, TMZ reported that there was a fatality at his estate, and then just a few minutes ago, they did confirm that it was Prince himself who passed away.
Yeah, I mean, Prince is a unique guy. I mean, it's hard to know what we might call normal, but from reports and people I've talked to, they said he was himself, which is often sort of mysterious. He was doing something, I don't have the exact way it happened, but revealing some type of microphone or musical instrument that night that was covered up. He's always he teases his fans a little bit. That's part of the fun. That's part of the aura around Prince. But they said he seemed exactly like how he always is for these types of overnight parties or overnight concerts, whatever you might want to call them. And yeah, on Twitter, the first tweet after he made this emergency landing, it had a little tongue-in-cheek remark and a little smiley face emoticon, telling people not only am I fine, but haha, let's laugh this off. So I think a lot of people were deeply concerned when they heard the reports about this emergency landing. But I think his behavior, his social media posts, kind of just persuaded people everything was going to be fine. One person who knows Prince quite well and talked to him quite recently, I think as recently as in the last couple days, utterly shocked by what she is hearing today, what TMZ is reporting. Yeah. Yeah, sort of a contrast to Bob Dylan, say, who sort of just covered up all of his Minnesota roots in many ways, and made some and didn't speak very fondly about Minnesota. Prince is a guy who could live anywhere in the world, and he is choosing Minnesota. Not only choosing Minnesota, choosing this suburb of Chanhassen and having this compound here, where he not only stays here, but he invites the community into his home. I mean, think about that. Prince, this international figure, he's inviting strangers, he doesn't know who these people are, into his home with very little supervision. I can tell you when I was there, it would have been really easy for me to just wander around and check things out. So he took a risk, and he takes risks with his followers, with his fans. And I think that's one reason why people here in Minnesota are so loyal to him, not just because he stayed here, but because he trusts his fans, he embraces his fans, and his artistry above all. He's constantly keeping us guessing, constantly evolving. And he's as we all know, he's sort of this mythical person, but a real human being in Minnesota that we can read about. We can see him perform at the Super Bowl, and then we can show up over the weekend and party with him. It's just I don't know of any other artist like this, anywhere else in the world, at least with Prince's stature.
Yes, I do. Yes, I can hear you now. I'm not hearing anything. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny you guys mention what people are tweeting. I'm looking behind the camera here. There's a little grassy hill that overlooks Paisley Park, and the top of the hill, a dozen people right now, and some are looking at Paisley Park, but most right now they're on their phones. They're reading tweets. They're trying to find out what's going on until we hear anything from law enforcement. And we've been on the air for some time now, and still no law enforcement officials coming over here to confirm anything or tell us what's happening next. No. Hard to tell because a lot of the cars that are turning off of 5 onto Audubon, they're turning on Audubon, so they're turning to come by Paisley Park. But I can also see cars coming from the other direction, not coming from the highway, and there's a significant number of cars coming that direction, driving, below the speed limit as they check out the scene here. I would imagine at some point there's going to be some type of traffic control. Maybe some type of road closures or limitations here as this news spreads. I might have a fan here. I might have a fan who wants to talk. One second.
Hello everyone, Ron Hoon, Samia joining you guys for this breaking news. This is just shocking. I came in this morning and everyone was talking about the wrestler China dying.
Yes.
And next thing you know, here we are with Prince's death. And I can't help but think back to June 25th, 2009. That day I was working for an entertainment outlet in Los Angeles, and I was covering Farrah Fawcett's death.
Oh, yeah.
And as I'm in the edit bay working on Farrah Fawcett's piece, I'm on my phone and I see Harvey Levin tweet about Michael Jackson. And then next thing you know, everyone had shifted gears, and that was the talk of the day. And it's just shocking how quickly these two things happened.
It's interesting because we had this reporter. He's out there. I guess Prince has a sort of a compound that's a studio and his home,
right? Do you want
kind of combined?
Go ahead and pull that up.
Might as well show people what we're talking about because this is breaking literally in the last about 25 minutes. I just heard it in the newsroom, and I just thought I misheard when they said Prince is dead. I
was like, which Prince?
The Prince?
I know.
A Prince? Not Prince the musician.
Right, exactly. I felt the same way. I didn't expect it. And it looks like someone's crying. Oh, I see, one of the fans of Prince.
Yeah.
Now stopping by. Let's go ahead and listen in on this live interview.
Yeah, he's going to wait for them to toss it to him here.
I know, but she already looks so emotional. Obviously, this is hard news to learn about.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I'm with one of Prince's big fans here. Heidi, last name Vader. And Heidi, I'm so sorry as we all process this together, but why did you want to be out here?
Because this is where we come to see Prince. This is where Prince lives. This is where we've found so much joy over the years. And I didn't believe anything was true, and I still don't know if it's true.
And I think for people who maybe aren't from Minnesota, they don't understand. This is a guy, he could be living anywhere in the world, and not only does he live in Minnesota, he invites us into his parties. He celebrates us. Was that part of the reason why people like you just look up to him so much?
Well, yes, but I mean, his music has been there for me since 1979, and he's been such an incredible entertainer, and he's one of the best live entertainers ever. And he's given us so much music, and to be able to come here and dance, and like we just did Saturday, and see him, and it's like nothing else in the world.
The Associated Press, I'm hearing, is confirming that he passed away. I mean, you saw him just on Saturday, you said. How was he doing? What did he look like? What did he say?
He was very humble and gracious and thankful, and he kept thanking Kirk for taking care of him the other day, and he said to save our prayers for when it mattered, or when he really needed them, and he showed us his new piano and his new guitar that he hasn't even played yet, and that's all. I don't know.
Did he seem? I mean, did he seem healthy? Did he seem himself, or how was he?
He seemed himself. He seemed himself.
What do you think? Now that we are hearing, at least Associated Press reporting that he has passed away, what are people going to be doing? Are people going to be showing up here and celebrating him? How do you see people, at least in the next few days, celebrating Prince and all of his art?
Well, today I don't know if "celebrate's" the right word, but I think a lot of us will be here. A lot of us are already here, and people are going to come and be together and console each other, and I don't know what's going to happen after that. I mean, I still listen to his music almost every single day, and that's not going to stop.
I know there's other fans you'd like to be with right now. Anything else you want people to think about at this moment?
No.
Well, Heidi, thank you for talking to us. I know how hard this was. I appreciate it. And, I mean, guys, that is what we're talking about. Those are the kinds of fans that Prince has, this just incredible loyalty to him, this love for him, for who he is here, for staying here, but as you said, more than anything else, they love him for the art, and they're having a hard time processing this, I can tell you that.
So far it is TMZ reporting this, and we would like to get our own independent confirmation before we can tell you any more than that, right?
Yeah.
Now this is a fairly brief, but I will tell you.
A second.
I gotta get electric.
We're going to go back on in a second.
I gotta get electric because everything's gonna die here.
You a big fan? Come out here just when you're in this news. What? Did you come out here just when you heard this news? Yeah. I'm actually in school right now. You in Northwestern? No. I'm at Chen Hassan High School. Do you want to go to Northwestern? It's on my list, right? Purple. Would you be willing to, we're on the air right now, just share a few thoughts about Prince? Yeah. Just kind of what's going through your mind?
All right, guys. Ron Hoon joining me once again. Ron.
Yeah.
Hey, Lori.
Again, as soon as you get back on screen, it looks like they have another fan ready to
Lori.
talk. Let's go ahead and listen once again.
This is right out front of Prince's compound
Yeah.
In Minnesota.
in Chanhassen.
Luke, I'm Ted. What high school do you go to, you say? Chanhassen. Chanhassen. Okay. Just give me 1 second.
You okay?
Yeah. Lori?
Right near the corner of Highway 5 and Audubon, a place that has been
Sorry.
really a destination for Prince fans for many, many years. He was known for his impromptu
So chaotic. We're on the air with
dance parties here. He just invited people to come. They would, in some cases, stand in line for hours and hours.
Lori? Yeah. And make sure, are you guys rolling on all this? What's your last name, Luke?
Wing.
Wing? W-I-N-G?
Yeah.
What year? Are you a senior or?
Junior.
Junior, okay. And you grew up in Chanhassen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Start a new single.
Okay.
Coming here to pay homage to Prince in his heyday, and he continued this even as he got into his 50s. He would do these parties, all-night parties.
That's exactly it. I think right now fans need to be around other fans, and that's why they're here. I'm with one person right now, Luke Wing, who goes to Chanhassen High School. So you grew up just not far from here, right?
Yep.
And I saw you earlier. You had your hands behind your head. Just, I imagine, total shock right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Human Geo, and they were reporting the death, and it's just shocking to lose someone of that great importance. I mean, he completely revitalized the music scene in Minneapolis. I mean, he's single-handedly one of the most influential artists ever, and it's just really shocking.
And you talk about how influential he is as an artist, but he stayed in Minnesota. He kept this compound here. Have you ever had a chance to be inside there?
So, so that's one of the things I'm so bummed about. I've been in there once, and he didn't actually end up performing, and I wasn't able to go this past Saturday. And so it's kind of like you're missing a legend. You didn't have the chance to see him, and it's going to be a real bummer.
What about artists die and people get upset, but there's something here that I'm just seeing that you don't see with every artist. Why does his art connect with people like you so deeply?
Well, I mean, my musical preference really changed over the past couple of years, so I delved very deeply into older music, and especially Prince. And, you know, the thing about Prince is he was just ingrained in this community. Right across from my neighborhood, he used to own a house, and the property is now, he tore it down, but the property is still open, and so my friends and I will go down there every once in a while, and we just kind of sit there, and it's like there's this there's this presence that Prince has in this area, and you know, everybody knows him throughout the state, but especially when you live within the city where Paisley Park is, it's just something completely different. And he was he was a musical genius.
What do you see people doing today in the next couple of days to honor his legacy? And do you see, you talk about his presence, do you see that staying, and if so, in what form?
Oh, I mean, this is going to be one of the stories that people remember. I mean, it's one of those things that's going to be burned into the memories of people that we lost him. You know, without a doubt, there are plenty of people here to mourn at this time. Obviously, he had such a lasting impact that celebration is without a doubt going to be a part of it, but, you know, that's only a part of the mourning process.
I know you want to be with other fans, but before you go, is there anything else you want people right now at home who are reflecting on Prince and his legacy to think about?
I mean, just that we should be so thankful for the impact that he had on music and on different people's lives, and especially the longevity of his work. I mean, if it's affecting across generations, you know he had something special going. So,
well, thanks for talking to us, Luke, and all the best to you. Okay.
Thanks.
And you know, another example of a Prince fan there, guys. And Luke just walks away and puts his hands behind his head again in total shock. Something about Prince's art speaking so deeply to people. And as we were talking to him, more and more people showing up on this grassy hill I'm describing to you, overlooking Paisley Park, as people hug each other. They look. A lot of people are taking pictures and video of the scene to remember what is going to be a very sad, momentous day in music history. Back to you. We have to change camera battery, so we're going to be off for a little bit. Okay. Okay, 3 to 5 minutes.
All right, guys, they are covering, or they are switching camera batteries. So we're going to cut out of that shot of Prince's compound in Minnesota and take you guys back to the TMZ article that first broke the news. I mean, TMZ always on top of this. I know other news outlets waiting to get personal confirmation from publicists before reporting the news. I do want to comment on this because you know what? TMZ has been fairly consistent when it comes to breaking news like this. Yeah. I still remember Harvey Levin's tweet back June 25th, 2009.
7 years ago now.
June 25th, 2009, seeing that he had first tweeted about Michael Jackson possibly being dead, and then we find out
Yeah.
they indeed had the inside scoop. And now
That's-
we're hearing this really devastating news once again.
That seems hard to believe that it's been 7 years since Michael Jackson died.
It has been. And I was just telling you off camera, watching those fans react
Yeah.
to Prince's death, seeing how emotional they were, especially knowing that Prince was still performing.
Right.
It wasn't like he was sick and we were kind of expecting this. He was performing up until this minute. And I can't help but keep looking back. I have to keep looking back at Michael Jackson because that summer he was supposed to do his tour at the O2 Arena in London.
Yep.
That
Yep.
summer that he died, you know, I remember speaking to a lot of the fans, the devastated Michael Jackson fans, who were emotional, crying their eyes out at the Hollywood Walk of Fame because they had tickets to that and he was their everything. And you think about Prince's legacy going back to the 80s and
I
he
know.
has been a part of some people's lives their entire lives.
And how many artists, we talk about how cool it is that Taylor Swift, who's probably about the biggest name in music worldwide today,
Right.
that she does these album parties and invites a handful of people to come hang out with her at her house and
I
listen
know.
to album
And
parties,
gives them milk
which
and
is so cool.
cookies.
Yes. But here's Prince, who apparently, from what I'm learning, listening to these people talk, opened up his house every Saturday night for people to just come and hang out.
The one in
and
Minnesota.
would frequently,
Let's pull that house up again.
yeah, and would frequently perform as
I mean,
people
that's-
showed up. That guy was just saying, I was in the house once before, but he didn't perform that week. I wish
It's
I'd gone last
crazy.
Saturday. I mean, talk about a community that has to love an icon, and he really was a music icon. Yes, you could, say that it was more, his hits were coming in the 80s and in the 90s.
Right.
But still instantly recognizable, I think, to people anywhere. And at 57, still full of music.
And
It's just shocking.
Still a huge name, whether he was making new music or not.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw Prince on the street, you would probably freak out. Whether you were a
Sure.
fan of his
Oh,
music or not,
sure.
whether you were around during his generation or not. Because
Right.
I can say factually that most of Prince's hits happened at a time where, I was too young to remember.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And still,
Yeah.
he's such an icon. I remember when he made his appearance after the Super Bowl on Fox on New Girl.
Okay.
And how big of a deal it was
Uh-huh.
that Prince had a role in this show and
Sure.
how hyped it was and how excited everyone was.
Right.
Because he just is that big of an icon. We're looking at this, we will be looking at this picture momentarily.
I just
and
have,
it's just,
and
I don't-
I know. I have this feeling that if you did that, if you met him walking down the street or however you were describing it, I have this feeling that he would sort of have the persona that we remember from the movie Purple Rain. I think that was one of those movies where he played himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably, I think in large part, probably was just sort of had this aura
Right.
and style about him, that was just always there. So, yeah, you would sort of be like, oh, gosh, do I go up and talk to him?
Right. I do want to let you viewers know, I know more than 1,000 of you guys are already tuning in. If you guys want to go ahead and tweet me, Samia Fox 10, I see some of you already doing so. I have a page up on my screen where I can see all the tweets coming in. We'll start reading your thoughts. I want you guys to share your favorite
Memories.
Prince memory. We'll
Yeah.
read them live on air. We want to hear your thoughts. I see Mike Edwards tweeting us saying that he's just completely shocked, but let us know what your favorite Prince memory is. Obviously, for some of you fans out there, the really diehard Prince fans, this is probably just a very emotional time for you.
Yeah. Well, it's shocking, and I go back to what people have got to be feeling there in the Twin Cities, which I'd never been there, never spent any time there until just a few months ago, and it is such a cool area. And yet, they feel far removed from the media's power, the media centers of the world of New York and L.A. And here's one guy who got very big time and never left him. He stayed true to his
Loyal.
Minnesota roots and had his home there in Chanhassen, which I just had to go look up, is maybe a few miles from the Mall of America. Out there looks like kind of really a pretty area, kind of a woodsy area with some lakes there in Minnesota. And the first word we got about it was about a half hour, by now it'd be about 45 minutes ago, that there were emergency responders going to his estate there, that somebody had died. And within TMZ, I think a matter of about 8 or 9 minutes, confirmed that the person who had died was Prince himself.
All right, let's go back to that shot of the compound so we can have that in the background as well. We're just going to be switching between these two shots. Oops, we're covering the compound. Since I'm asking the viewers out there what their favorite Prince memory is, or their most memorable Prince memory is, I'd like to ask that same question to you, Ron.
Okay, so I never saw him in person. I would have loved to have done that. But I do have, this is kind of a funny memory, but I remember when his tune When Doves Cry came out. And as you know, my original home is up in Washington State. And I was driving up to see my family up there, my folks. And there's this beautiful spot where you come down out of the hills and you can see the whole Columbia River right in front of you. And it was right about sunset. And that song came on the radio of When Doves Cry. And I just thought, what a great tune, what a performer, what a song, what a view. And it was just one of those moments. I don't know if you're like this. I think it might be because I'm a former DJ.
Right, I figured you'd have a personal connection
Yes,
to Prince.
but I
because
have
of
these
that.
musical images in my memory of when I'm listening to a song and driving somewhere, and it's just like there's some, like I remember as a little kid where I was when I first heard Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles, driving along the ocean in Oregon. And so I have one of those memories for Prince. I bet a lot of people do.
I bet they do. We're going to read some of your memories in just a second. Make sure to tweet me. In the meantime, we're going to go back to this live feed from Minnesota where it looks like the reporter on hand is speaking to some fans that are just walking by Prince's home. Let's go ahead and listen.
Yeah.
I won't ask that.
Yeah. Do it. Yes. I'd rather be here.
What year are you guys at?
Seniors.
Seniors. Emma, Ellie, Sydney, seniors at Chanhassen.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will.
Samia, you're skipping class.
I might just not go back to school. I'm pretty emotionally distraught right now.
It looks like the reporter is still waiting for him to do his live hit with the show out there in Minnesota, the Fox programming out there. But we did just get the official
Emma, Ellie.
statement from the publicist. Ron, do you want to go ahead and read that?
Yeah, this is Yvette Noel Shore, who sent this out a few minutes ago, saying it is with profound sadness that I am confirming that the legendary, iconic performer Prince Rogers Nelson has died at his Paisley Park residence this morning at the age of 57. So less than an hour after the story first broke from TMZ, we get the official word of the death of Prince.
Right.
And we're monitoring. It looks like we've got that guy ready to talk
Let's
now.
go ahead and listen in on what the fans
Fans
are
share
saying.
memories.
Weekends. We were planning on going to Jimmy John's for the $1 subs, but then we heard about this and we decided to come see what was happening over here and see if it was real.
I think one of you said you were so emotional you don't think you can go back to school. Why do people have such strong feelings for Prince?
I don't know. I grew up in Chanhassen, and so I've always been connected to Prince. And I've been listening to Prince since I was like in my mother's womb. So, and I don't know. This is just so heartbreaking, and I don't know. I just grew up on Prince, so this is really, really crazy and sad.
I mean, Prince is this international artist, this star who performs in the Super Bowl, yet he lives right here in your town. What does that say?
I don't know. It says a lot about him, I guess. I mean, he could live anywhere he wants and he still lives near where he grew up.
For those who've never been inside Paisley Park, I'm wondering if one of you can just describe what it looks like, what the atmosphere is.
It's just kind of different. There's a lot of purple.
Yeah.
It's not what you would expect.
It's very Prince.
And you know, you guys just got here. We're seeing more fans arrive here. There's this big grassy hill across the street for those who can't see. What do you think this area is going to look like tonight, tomorrow, a few days from now?
So many purple flowers, so much purple, and just so many people who actually cared about his music. And I don't know, he's just leaving a lot of fans behind. So it's really sad. It's going to be crazy.
I think it's going to be packed for days to come.
Yeah. One time there was a rumor that Prince was in Chanhassen and coming to the restaurant that I work at. And when I was working, there was a ton of fans there. Like, we had to kick some people out, so I can only imagine what this will be like.
And we can't forget his music. I mean, what's the song you want to play right now?
I just want to dance to Erotic City and just
Yes.
Prince. Yeah. Or Seven. I don't know.
With Prince, there's a lot of options, right?
Yes. It's too many.
Any other suggestions for people?
Pretty much those two.
Well, thank you all for talking to us. Our condolences, best wishes. We know how we're with everyone we're talking today. We just see how deeply you guys feel for Prince and his music. So thank you for sharing some time with us. We keep hearing the same theme over and over again, guys. It's just Prince was no ordinary star. He was an artist, and an artist never forgot where he came from. Back to you.
Again, guys, you are looking at a live feed of Prince's compound in Minnesota. We can confirm that Prince, the singer, the icon, has passed away this morning. We have the official press release from his publicist. It is with profound sadness that I'm confirming that the legendary, iconic performer Prince Rogers Nelson has died at his Paisley Park residence this morning at the age of 57. There are no further details as to the cause of death at this time. Looks like the reporter on scene has found another fan to talk with. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Talk like we normally talk about things.
Ted, don't turn your back so much to me.
If Doug's around,
I don't know.
Is it confirmed?
yeah, I'll tell you, Iris Perez has been here for some time, and we've been sharing quite a few hugs, haven't we, Iris?
Yeah, we have.
Iris is a good friend of Prince, knows him quite well. Iris, what's going through your head today?
This is absolutely unbelievable. As you know, Prince is not only one of the most prolific artists of our time, he was a great person who loved Minnesota, who loved the people of Minnesota. This was his home. He had no intention on going anywhere. I mean, I had just been in communication with him on Sunday, and as far as I knew, he was on the up and up, and he didn't want to talk about how he was feeling. He wanted to focus on his music. He wanted to focus on his performance here that night because he wanted to make sure the people here had an experience. And that was what he was all about. He was all about making sure that he left you with an experience that you would never forget, with an experience that left you with, you know, a resonance and a feeling of more than just, you know, a connection that you would have with a musician. And that was what his music was all about. His music will live forever, you know, and I think that people who are people who are heartbroken right now, because trust me, hearts are breaking all over the world right now with this news, they can know that his music, he lives through his music. And there's a variety, a plethora of messages that he left in his music. And one of the most profound messages that he left with all of us was a message of love and a message of something beyond what we experience here. So I think what Prince would want us to feel right now, yes, he would want us to mourn because he knows that he left a lasting impression with us, but he would also want, after that mourning, for us to celebrate his life and celebrate the fact that, you know, he's transitioned and perhaps to something greater, you know. So while my heart is absolutely broken, I am blessed and I feel fortunate to have had some very wonderful memories with Prince Rogers Nelson, and my condolences to his family and those who had the opportunity to be close to him.
You say his full name, Prince Rogers Nelson. We all know Prince, the musician, the artist. What was he like just to be around and have a quiet conversation with?
He was amazing. He left such a lasting impression. I mean, he was funny. I mean, he was so real. You know, I mean, he's so versatile. He's a multifaceted man, but he was a joy to be around. I mean, we did things. We watched movies together, you know, and we watched John Oliver. We watched different things on television. We talked about the news. We talked about celebrities and life and spirituality. He was just an amazing, well-rounded human being, unlike anyone I've ever met.
Why did he choose to stay in Minnesota, and not only stay, but pick Chanhassen as his home?
You know, that's a really good question. I never got that deep into it. I was just proud, I was proud. I never questioned it because it was something that I was really proud to see. Someone embrace their hometown, embrace this wonderful, beautiful state. And, just like he had said, my hometown, Detroit, was his second hometown. I was happy to make Minneapolis my second hometown. So it was nothing I ever questioned. But I know he loves Minnesota. He loves the people of Minnesota. And I think he found a lot of peace here. A lot of the riffraff that you would find in a place like New York and LA, he wouldn't have to worry about here. He had a sense of privacy here at Paisley Park in Chanhassen and in Minnesota that he probably wouldn't have found in places like New York and LA.
I got one opportunity to go inside Paisley Park and see him. And what struck me was you walk in and there's no security guards breathing over you. You can kind of do what you want, and how much trust he had for people.
Yeah, because he knew if you acted up, that was on you, and whatever the consequences that followed would be on you. But yeah, he wanted people to not feel restricted, because I think he knew that when people feel restricted, that's when they behave in unusual ways or in ways that violate his privacy or his space. He definitely had boundaries with people. He definitely, throughout the course of us establishing a friendship, he was guarded just like I was. But again, it goes back to he was human just like the rest of us, and he took time to get to know people and his fans and journalists like myself. And he's just an outstanding. He will live on through his music, and he was an outstanding person. And again, Teddy, I'm just so blessed to have known him.
And I've asked everyone this. I mean, what song or what album do you want to be playing right now?
Oh, wow. I sat down with him last May when he was making a song called Free Yourself. And I watched him make it. And he was like, I made these songs on instruments that, you grew up listening to in my music. The classic Prince, the Purple Rain Prince that so many people know and love. And I just feel so blessed to have sat in that studio with him up until 4 o'clock in the morning. And then at noon, after I got home, received that song, received those lyrics. Again, Teddy, I'm just so blessed to have been his friend, to have been someone to document a small portion, albeit a small portion, but a portion of Prince's life. And yeah, I'm just, I have a very, I can tell you these things because you're my friend and you're my coworker and you're asking me these questions, but still unbelievable. But again, I have to look at the silver lining in the fact that it was amazing knowing Prince.
And as you talk about the silver lining and you talk about celebrating his life, not only did he have loyal friends, he has creative fans. How do you see this area transforming over the next few days? One person told me, expect a lot of purple flowers.
Oh, sure. Yeah. There's going to be an outpouring of love, not only across the country. People, they flew in for his parties from all over the world. They would come in, not just from Canada, but other parts of the world. So you can expect to see people flying in. People are probably booking flights right now. Prince, again, meant so much to so many people, not just in the United States, all around the world. And I think it's unfortunate that a lot of people are going to see who he really was after his death, not while he was living. So again, that's why I say I'm just so fortunate to have known him while he was here.
I know this wasn't easy, Iris. Anything else you want people to think about or reflect on at this moment?
Just to remember his message through his music. And like I said, I feel like that underlying message in all of his songs was about the importance of understanding your internal truth, understanding that there is something that binds all of us, regardless of our differences, and that at the end of the day, no matter how you look at it, is love. And I think that that's what he would want us to move forward and keep in our hearts as we remember him and what he meant to each and every one of us.
Love. Thank you, Iris, so
You're
much.
You're welcome, Teddy. My pleasure.
Yeah. Our colleague and good friend, Iris Perez, sharing her thoughts. This has not hit her well. She's been very upset. She did not want to believe it when we heard the rumors. So we appreciate her articulating what everyone is trying to say today about how much Prince it means to them, and also again how he would invite people into his home and make friends with journalists like Iris Perez. I know that from talking to others, Prince was a curious guy. He liked to have people over, and he liked to ask them questions about their jobs and their opinions on things and their opinions on the music industry and technology and how everything's changing. Despite being this superstar, he had a humility to him where he wasn't afraid to open up to people and ask them questions. And I think that's a little bit what you heard there from Iris, guys.
I have also learned from another source that he was supposed to be at a homeless community health appointment this morning at around 8 or 8:30, and obviously did not show up. And so there was some concern about that.
I need 3-4 minutes.
I want to show you out here at the scene at Paisley Park. Thanks for doing it. Anything help? I'm supposed to help you.
They just want some fans, so if you can find fans, we'll do an interview.
All right, guys, that was the report from Minnesota. We have live continuous coverage. You are looking at an exterior shot of the compound, Prince's compound in Minnesota. He was found dead this morning at the age of 57. Again, guys, you're looking at the TMZ post that initially announced Prince's death. Obviously, it is very emotional. Twitter exploding with heartbreak over Prince's death. Prince has been trending. It's the #1 trend in the country, probably worldwide, Prince's death. Many people tweeting their emotional reaction to the icon's sudden passing. Again, very unexpected. A very unexpected incident indeed. Just 5 days ago, Prince was performing live on April 16th, and then here we are, April 21st, learning of this sudden death. Joining me now is Andrew Hasbun. Andrew, we just learned about Prince's death about 45 minutes ago. It was just confirmed by his publicist in the last half hour. TMZ first reported it. I keep bringing it up. I can't help but feel like today feels like the day when I found out Michael Jackson died.
Yeah, I think it's actually fairly similar.
It came out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere. Although, I've been reading a little bit more about what led up to this. Right. And last week, there were reports that his airplane had to land because he was ill with what they said was the flu. So, don't know what happened between then and now.
Right, that was April 15th, but then the very next day, April 16th, he still performed.
Yeah.
TMZ has an image of him on stage. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right now. This is him on stage on the 16th.
A guy who just got over the flu. I mean,
and he was determined to kind of show that, look, guys, I'm fine. And imagine being in this crowd right here, watching Prince perform for the last time. It's such a sad way to think, but that's the reality of the situation, and I don't think any of them were expecting this. We weren't expecting this. And it's just a really sad situation. Those of you just tuning in, Prince found dead in his home in Minnesota at the age of 57, confirmed by his publicist. No further details as far as the cause of death at the time, although like Andrew just mentioned, we were hearing reports that he was suffering from the flu.
And that's pretty much it. We haven't gotten any other information about what led up to this, how he was found.
Right.
We know it was at his recording studio, but that's about it.
His compound. I guess it was a combination of his recording studio, where he lived, where he hung out. We were hearing from different friends, fans coming by the compound. There is a Fox reporter out there outside of his home, his compound, and he's just been speaking with tons of people who have been walking by throughout the morning. In fact, we have another one if we want to just go ahead and listen in on this one right now.
We can make this work for now.
Hey, Lori. Lori, have you guys done the Klobuchar statement yet? I can read it. You have already done it? Or you want? Okay.
We're good.
Okay, we're ready. Sorry.
That's okay.
Come step in my office.
Sure.
Right there's Ted. It's really good. You're doing a great job.
Can you show the flowers? Zoom in on those.
Not me. Well, it's gonna be. It's not easy for me.
Can you just give it a shot?
Huh?
Can you give it a shot?
You want to start in there?
Yeah, we'll start. No, start on me and then go to the flowers.
Start on you, then go to the flowers?
Yeah. And then we'll just talk, and then when you come back to us whenever you can. Go. Yeah, more fans arriving, more fans bringing flowers, and we're seeing some purple. I think we're trying to zoom in on some that are on the fence right now surrounding Paisley Park. Cars going by it, but you can see some flowers with definitely some purple wrapping there. Someone said, Ted, you won't believe the number of purple flowers we're going to be seeing here the next few days, and we're already starting to. And I'm here with one of Prince's big fans here, Becky. What's your last name, Becky?
Mercer.
And Becky, why did you want to be here today?
Well, I just felt as if I'm never around anything that's historical, and to me, this is going to be like that moment of where were you when you found out Prince died? I live here, and I was driving right by, and I just told my husband, I'm like, let's stop. Let's just, get out and pay our respects if it's really Prince that was in there. And then we found out it was really him once we started talking to other people.
You don't see this kind of reaction for every artist passing away. People are crying. People are in shock. What is it about Prince? People feel so deeply.
I think his music really brought people together. He was from a diverse background, and his music was for everybody, no matter if you were black, white, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Chinese. His music just brought people together, and it got you excited. I loved all of his stuff.
One thing I keep hearing from people is not only did they love his art, his music, they also love the fact he stayed in Minnesota, and not only stayed here, he invited us into his home here.
I love that too, and I've only lived in Minnesota for a very brief time, so for me, I didn't even know this was Paisley Park for the longest time until somebody finally said, oh yeah, Prince's recording studio's right there, and I was like, what? Down the road from where I lived, and I didn't know it? So then I started to pay more attention, and actually was going to try to get to one of his concerts in here, but sadly now that won't happen.
Yeah, I've heard that from a few people. They thought, boy, next time he's doing something, I'm going.
Exactly. I joined his little Paisley Park Facebook page to keep up with when he's coming, what's going on. So, it's like you always think you have tomorrow to do something, but you don't necessarily.
I keep asking people, if you could hit play on a song or an album right now.
All right, guys, we're going to cut out of this fan interview because we have a couple of things going on right now. We're going to be doing a live interview with John, Jay, and Rich in just a minute. I know we also have audio of the dispatch call. TMZ just released the audio of this dispatch call. Andrew's able to pull it up on his phone, so we're going to go ahead and play that for you right now.
All right, I'm going to play it right here off the phone if you guys want to listen.
Down that treating. That isn't better now. And this needed paramedic on Paisley Park, 7801 Audubon Road. Person down, not breathing, time is 6945. Great. CPR started. Definitely CPR started, 949.
All right, so if you guys could hear that clearly, basically the call was for a person down and not breathing.
Right.
Which obviously, as we know now, turned out to be Prince.
Right.
So John, Jay, and Rich are joining us now. Can you guys hear us?
Let me just pull them up for Let's see. John, Jay, and Rich, can you guys hear us? If they speak into the microphone, we can see you guys live on air right now. So if you guys just go ahead and say something, we'll be able to confirm that you guys can hear us.
Sounds like they put us on hold.
Be able to hear us. All right, we're going to work on that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and show you guys the image of Prince once again, icon, legend, dead at the age of 57, found in his Minnesota compound this morning. Again, absolutely shocking news. Andrew, you grew up at a time where Prince was just huge.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have a personal favorite Prince memory off the top of your
I
head?
would say I have a personal favorite Prince song, that's for sure. That'd be Little Red Corvette, which obviously was a classic and just a huge hit. I mean, it's hard to really pinpoint, an absolute
favorite moment
because he's been so prevalent for so many years.
Right.
And still relevant to this day.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you think of artists who were popular during a certain time and have managed to carry it through the generations,
there are few artists.
There are very few. I mean, obviously Michael Jackson was one of them. You have artists like Madonna, and I think Prince is in that category as well.
Absolutely. I had asked the viewers to tweet their favorite Prince memories as well. If you want to send them in, we'll read them live on air. I'm going to read a couple. Edward Benson saying, saw Prince live in San Jose in June 2004. Purple Rain, lone guitar in a dark arena is my top memory. We have MAD tweeting, he was the last good Super Bowl halftime show. Rachel saying, no matter where you are or what you listen to, Prince has always had an influence. Party like it's 1999. China, now Prince. It's so sad. Rachel referencing the death of wrestling icon China. That news breaking last night. That was all over Twitter this morning. Stephen Gold saying, my favorite Prince moment was ringing in the new year for Y2K, listening to a song 1999. Great time. I will say that was the song.
Yeah, it was.
Of New Year's 1999. Jeff Martinez saying, very sad to hear the only Prince I cared to read about is gone. It is obviously really sad. In a moment, we'll be able to see if we can connect once again with John Jay and Rich and chat with them about this devastating news. All right, guys, we have John, Jay, and Rich on the preview screen. John, Jay, and Rich, if you guys can wave to the camera and acknowledge that you can indeed hear us, we'll start that interview now. All right, while we wait for that John Jay and Rich interview to start, I want to go ahead and read to you some of the celebrity reactions. Obviously, the internet is just filled with outpouring of love and shock. Facebook, Twitter, whether you're famous or not, people are sharing their thoughts on Prince's passing. We have Ellen DeGeneres tweeting, Prince was brilliant and larger than life. What a sad day today. I'm going to go ahead and actually just pull up this TMZ article that has it all. Zendaya saying, Prince, there's no way. Samuel L. Jackson, I'm crushed. UK News reporting Prince is dead. For real, massive loss for all of us. What a genius. Speechless. Wendy McLennan, Covey, Prince, I can't deal. I mean, you're just looking at a number of these tweets come in. We have Piers Morgan. Prince was the greatest live performer I ever saw. A musical genius, ablaze with astounding sexually charged energy. Loved him. Rest in peace. Katy Perry also tweeting, and just like that, the world lost a lot of his magic. Rest in peace, Prince. Thanks for giving us so much. Wow. I mean, it's just nonstop. So many people responding as soon as they hear the news. And a lot of people in the beginning wanted to believe that wasn't true.
It looks like John Jay and Rich may be able to hear us now. Guys, if you can hear us, can you wave at us?
I think they
There we
can.
go. Okay, we got it.
All right.
All right. So John Jay and Rich are here, obviously from 104.7 KISS FM in the mornings. Great guys, great show. You guys have been following Prince for years. I mean, if you could just kind of give us your initial reaction when you heard the news.
You know, there's a thing about Prince that he's so iconic. He's such a part of our childhood. There's there's not a song that comes on the radio that is a Prince song that you just don't have to sing along to. As far as songwriters goes, there's really nobody that is in pop music right now that is not touched by his iconic style of songwriting. And man, this is such a bummer. And such a young guy. And I was just saying on the air the other day, I said, you know what? His new album, nobody knows about it because it's untitled, but it's really good. And I was just thinking he could have songs if he was 25 that would be on the radio, but because he was almost 60, he's not treated like a pop artist anymore. But so iconic, such a bummer, such a loss, and yeah, we're in total denial.
And we did a show with him in Las Vegas 2 years ago with iHeartMedia. It was our iHeartRadio Music Festival, and not only did he change, I mean, think about what this guy did back in the day. He was using symbols to name songs and albums, and now we use those symbols in text and everyday language. I mean, my shirt that I'm wearing is this Prince-inspired Love Up shirt. # Love Up. All Prince-inspired. This guy changed the world.
So you guys were with him, as you mentioned, in Las Vegas. So what was he like? Because what I've heard about Prince is that he was this intensely private person, incredible on stage,
quiet,
but quiet behind the scenes.
Very quiet, very short. I mean, he was this guy. I mean, I'm 6'4".
Even with the boots.
Yeah, he was very short, very quiet, but he was nice. We didn't sit and talk to him very long, but he was very nice.
There's something about him, and growing up playing in bands and stuff like that, even to this day. I always get excited when I get to play a Prince song. There's something about Prince music that kind of crosses the genres. When you're in a room and a Prince song comes on, everybody knows it. Everybody pretty much loves a Prince song. You might not like all his stuff, but everybody loves at least a Prince song. In fact, growing up, I think I was more into Prince than Michael Jackson at the time, and Michael Jackson was the biggest pop star in the world. But Prince somehow had some more guts to the songwriting, some intimacy, some authenticity. So yeah, he's definitely going to be missed, and we're already talking about how much Prince we're going to get to play on the show tomorrow, which we're kind of excited about the tribute for that.
So you were running around singing Little Red Corvette when you were a kid? Is that my understanding?
I didn't know what that meant.
A little too young for the message there, that song.
Yeah,
I find it interesting, too, though, with Prince, is that, here he was on stage, this incredible performer, and then yet so reserved behind the scenes. Short with interviews as well, like, kind of one-word answer, kind of an interview. I'm sure you guys have had celebrities like that, but then on stage, he's just this incredible performer and just lights up.
Well, you hear he's an artist, and more than just an artist, also an incredibly smart, brilliant mind, and really in touch with the mood of the day. And I remember being in a room with him. I've been in radio since I've been 14. I remember being in a room and he was talking about his new album, and he was telling people, he's like, what sells is sex and religion. He's like, I've just happened to combine them into some really cool music. He knew exactly what would push buttons to get him where he wanted to go as an artist. He was calculated as he was talented. It's a rare combination, and mostly played every instrument himself on every album and produced it.
I do feel like his influence certainly spanned generations. John Jay, do you agree with that? I mean, do you think that people who are, say, in their 20s today are looking back and thinking about how great Prince was?
Absolutely. I actually think even musicians today, if you look at Beyonce, for example, when she's on stage, she's Sasha Fierce. Sasha Fierce is Prince on stage. So he has influenced everybody of all generations, all ages, and especially us being radio people. And we talk about Prince all the time. I work out all the time. I do Orange Theory. I can't tell you, I know an Orange Theory class is a really good class when they throw in a Prince song.
And not on Throwback Thursday, on a regular mix. That's what you're referring
on a regular
to.
day. Let's go crazy.
Although it is Thursday.
So
today.
how do you guys feel about, the way people are reacting right now? You see all these celebrities tweeting, Mark Cuban tweeting, I'm in shock. We're looking at a TMZ feed right now. I'll just read you guys a couple of them because I know you don't have them in front of them. Russell Simmons, rest in power, Prince. Blake Shelton, even a country singer, even tweeting, truly hate hearing we lost Prince, sad day. His influence across genres. Do you think it was pretty powerful?
As powerful as it gets. As good of a songwriter, as good of a producer as you can find, a musician, showman, businessman. He turned against the record labels. He was the first guy to say, I don't need a record label. I can put this stuff online and people will find me there. Touring, merchandising. Prince was ahead of the game by decades.
What do you guys have planned for your show?
Well, tomorrow, Fiance Friday at 7:50. Oh, do you mean? Oh, you mean?
I
Like
meant Prince-wise.
Oh well, yeah, we're gonna play a lot of Prince. We have some Prince surprises in the works that we're working on. We have a couple celebrities calling in that we're very close with Prince. We're gonna play Prince music. We got a lot of stuff. We're all wearing purple tomorrow. You know, Purple Rain. It's a big emotional show tomorrow on John Jay and Rich on Kiss.
Is there a song that you guys think will be kind of the everlasting Prince song?
To me, you just do. John Jay just said it. It's Purple Rain. In fact, that's, as far as I'm concerned, the best album that's ever been. I don't care, pop, rock, whatever. To me, Prince, Purple Rain is the album, and that is the song.
For me, it's the song he wrote about this radio station, Kiss.
Nice choice.
You guys, thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. That was obviously John Jay and Rich from Kiss FM here in Phoenix. They got a very popular show in town here in the mornings, and obviously very big Prince fans too.
Absolutely. I think so many of you viewers out there are huge Prince fans. I really think that anyone who grew up during that era when Prince dominated the radio, you can't help but be a Prince fan.
And not only dominated the era, I mean, think about what it was like back in the 80s and early 90s when MTV played music videos.
Right.
He dominated MTV
Before
too.
Teen Mom.
Yeah, he did. He dominated MTV too. Purple Rain was a movie. And so, you know, he was everywhere for a very long time, and a prolific songwriter too.
Right. Again, guys, if you have personal Prince memories that you want to share with us, we will be reading some of your tweets live here on News Now. Some of the tweets may even make the newscast at noon or at 5 o'clock, so make sure to tweet me at Samia Foxtown. We'll be reading them live here on air. You know, Fox 10 just tweeted a second ago, the music icon delivers an incredible performance during the Super Bowl halftime show watch. So you can revisit these memories. Go ahead and follow Fox 10 Phoenix on Twitter, and you can go ahead and watch that moment. I know one of the viewers had tweeted that was their favorite Prince memory. The last time there was a good halftime show at the Super Bowl. John Proton saying, I played basketball at 3 a.m. with Prince, and then he made me pancakes. Somehow I believe that.
And I was just looking up here. The movie Purple Rain came out in 1984. So think about all those songs that were associated with Purple Rain. I'll read you a couple of them. Let's Go Crazy, one of his biggest songs. Obviously, Purple Rain, the song. Darling Nikki, When Doves Cry, I Would Die For You. These are all from that soundtrack to the film. So, obviously an impact that'll span generations.
Right. Let's go ahead and pull up some of those celebrity reactions again. We didn't even get through all of them. We have Blake Shelton, Olivia Munn, Mark Cuban, Kerry Washington, Kris Jenner, Ice-T, Nick Cannon, Charlie Puth, Joan Collins, Katie Couric. I mean, everyone sharing their thoughts. Marlon Wayans, Leanne Rimes, Star Jones. I mean, everyone in shock. Absolute shock. It came out of nowhere. Again, like you said, if you were paying attention to what was going on with Prince in the last week, you may have possibly thought something was up because of that emergency landing that took place on April 15th. But I don't think anyone expected something like this.
No. Well, we'll, of course, be following the story all day. We're getting some reaction from some people in town who have worked with him on concerts, hoping to talk to some of them a little later. But everyone, you know, people who worked with him all have stories about what he was like on stage and off stage.
Absolutely. Wow. Again, those of you just joining us who want just the basic information, we know Prince died at his home this morning in Minnesota. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the article, see if TMZ has any additional information. Again, we are sourcing TMZ for this news. They were the first ones to break it. I told Andrew earlier, this feels like Michael Jackson all over again.
Yeah, it
TMZ
sure does.
broke that first. It's having the same sort of impact where his music influenced everyone, whether you were a musician or not. The fans that you had were so dedicated, and again, another death that just came as just a complete shock. Again, body discovered at his Paisley Park compound in Minnesota. There's the emergency dispatch call. We can play
Why don't we
this
play
for
that
you
again
now.
because we played it earlier off of a phone.
Yeah, let's go ahead and play
So
this
let's see
now.
if we can play that.
Deploy car for a medical, Paisley Park, 7801 Audubon Road, 7801 Audubon Road, for a tail down, not breathing. Rescue's been started right now. And rescue needed for a medical at Paisley Park, 7801 Audubon Road. Person down, not breathing, time your station 45. 48.
Chief 1, CPR started.
10-4 CPR started, 949.
It was a very brief call, but
Yeah, but I think you get the sense there that of how he was discovered.
Right.
Not breathing. And then someone, we don't know who discovered him, called
Right.
911.
again, his plane had to make an emergency landing April 15th, so just 6 days ago in Illinois. But then, like you and I were talking about earlier, the very next day he appears in concert, and his people had told TMZ then that Prince was battling the flu. At the show, Prince apparently told the crowd, "Wait a few days before you waste any prayers."
Oh.
And that is a new fact I'm just learning now. It looks like TMZ
Interesting.
updated their article, and that is just
Makes you wonder just how serious his
crazy.
illness was.
Right. Prior to his most recent appearance on the 16th, Prince had
Oh.
just canceled 2 shows because of health concerns. Again, Prince, you know, in the public spotlight since 1982, so 34 years, yeah.
And then they've got a link to the video for Cream. That's one of the other songs I forgot to mention. Remember that song? Do you remember that song?
I'm a little young.
You're not that much younger than me.
You know, my first true Prince, truthfully, is around 1999 when I remembered that was the song. When it came to,
Yeah.
you know, the switch from 1999 to 2000, that was the anthem. And yeah, it was just one of those really shocking things. He performed at the Super Bowl in 2007. He's won 7 Grammys, sold more than 100 million records, won an Academy Award for Purple Rain in 1985.
It's sad.
Again, viewers, if you have any thoughts, if you want to share your memories, your favorite thing about Prince, just go ahead and tweet me. My Twitter handle is below, and we'll read them here on air. Tasso saying, first Bowie, now Prince, brutal year for pop music so far. That's so true. I feel like, I don't know if it's just 2016 where there feels like there are already more deaths this year than in previous years, or if it's social media and we hear about them more, or I don't know
Or
what
we
it
certainly
is.
hear about them faster.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna go break away and work on some more people who know Prince and have dealt with him here in the Valley, and
Perhaps we can
just-
chat again this afternoon.
Yeah, perhaps.
All right.
Maybe we can play some of those interviews we're able to get.
Great.
Sad day. Thanks.
Sad day. Thanks, Andrew. All right, guys, I'm going to read more of your tweets. Just make sure to tweet me at Samia Fox 10.